Hi, my name is Lindsay Tillinghast, and I'm your host for this episode of the College and Career Readiness Podcast. Today we are joined by our special guest, Chris Durr, Special Projects Librarian with the Sacramento Public Library. Before we start our interview, remember to take control of your future, join the California Army National Guard, and serve your community during local and state emergencies. You'll learn marketable skills, earn a paycheck, and get money for school. Contact Sergeant Aquino today at 916-233-7615. Hi.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. So can you tell me a little bit about what Twitch is?
So Twitch is an online platform that is really used for live streaming. And 90% of what happens on Twitch is people play video games and other people watch them play video games, which sounds kind of strange. I mean, watching someone else play video games doesn't usually sound like the best idea of a good time. But if we think about how we interact with like game shows all the time, it makes a bit of sense because we watch people play Jeopardy and we yell out answers at the TV, right? Now, the TV can't yell back at us unless you're special, and I don't know about that, Lindsay. But most of the time when people play Twitch, when people watch people play Twitch, they're watching other people play video games. And they have this impulse, this urge to interact with the people that are streaming their video games. And so what they can do is they can chat with them in real time, and they can respond to what they're saying and interact with the person who's actually playing the game in a way that we don't get to interact with Alex Trebek. So it's really this interesting platform that's sort of different from what's normally out there.
That's really cool. And so how would you say that Twitch is different from YouTube and other similar services?
So YouTube is primarily focused on delivering video on demand content. So what that means is that you know what video you're looking for and it's already been made and you're watching it after the fact. That's most of what YouTube is. Now YouTube has other services like YouTube Live where people will live stream on it, but that's not really YouTube's wheelhouse. Twitch is primarily live events as they're happening in the moment. And on top of that, there is that social overlay where you can see the people making the content and you can interact with them and they can interact with you.
And why is the library involved in this?
So what this sort of interactive video content is really a 21st century media. And the library has a special project here where we're going to be teaching the skills to be a live streamer on Twitch, where we're going to be taking some of the services that we traditionally offer and changing them around a little bit so that we can stream them live on the internet to the whole wide world and provide the content that we normally do exclusively to the people of Sacramento here with an eye towards a worldwide horizon. And we're not just focused on delivering our services on Twitch, we're also focused on making sure that the people in our communities have access to the technology that enables this, that they have access to the broadband speeds they need to be able to stream all this data out into the web, and to be able to engage in this sort of 21st century media and storytelling in a powerful way.
What kind of technology is used in order to do this?
So there's a variety of technologies. The biggest thing that we need, the biggest hurdle that we had to clear was having really, really high-speed broadband in our buildings. So recently the library joined a network of universities and public schools on a broadband network called Scenic. And we're using this connection to get really high-speed internet. So at our central library, we have 1 gig a second speeds, which means that things can happen instantaneously. And that enables us not to just get our patrons to Facebook or to YouTube faster. It enables us to do sort of different types of programming like this. So the first hurdle that we had to clear was getting this broadband speed. Then the library wrote a grant to purchase a bunch of technology that's going to enable us to copy or replicate what a lot of professional live streamers use. So these things are like high-definition cameras. They're special laptops that have really powerful video cards so that we can render games and things like that really effectively. It's special microphones, it's green screens, it's lighting, so that there's, in addition to all the hardware technology elements, there's more analog traditional technologies that are just a part of a good video production that the library is interested in giving the entire community of Sacramento access to.
That's really cool. And so what do you have planned so far, and what do you hope to achieve from this program?
So the entire project takes 4 phases, and they all have sort of a slightly different theme to them. The very first project that we're working on is called Minecraft Sacramento, and what we've done is we've gone into our archives in what we call the Sacramento Room, which is like our library that's special for local history. And we chose 3 landmarks in Sacramento, the Central Library, Tower Bridge, and Sutter's Fort. And we went through all our historical documents, and we found all the pictures and diagrams and blueprints of those places that we could. And we're getting groups of teens together to rebuild those structures in Minecraft as they existed when they were first constructed. So we started building the Central Library as it looked in 1919. We're going to get Sutter's Fort in 1860 or something, and Tower Bridge, and I forget the exact date, my apologies, but when it first came out. And there's really cool primary sources that we have that are like the Sacramento Bee and the cover of the Sacramento Bee, or the front page with the Tower Bridge. And it's not gold when it's actually first made. It's red, I believe. So lots of things like that where we're going to recreate these structures as they looked like when they were first constructed. So we're using what is really a traditional library resource, which is local history, and combining it with this idea of live streaming, taking video gaming and using it to tell the story of local history to an entire worldwide audience. And after we have our teens rebuild these structures and practice live stream, practice engaging with the people watching, and practice sort of performing as they're playing at the same time, then we're going to have our archivists, who are specialists in this type of information, lead tours of these structures inside of Minecraft. So you'll be able to tune into Twitch and watch. James and Amanda are the name of the librarians, the archivists who are in charge of that. Watch them move the camera around these structures and talk about how the primary sources inform the build and what elements of local history couldn't make it into the things, and kind of give an insider tour of what these structures looked like when they were first made in a way that you can't really experience any other way. So we're going to be doing that live on Twitch and interacting with people. So that's the first phase. The next phase is really playing to the main audience of Twitch, which is video gamers. And what we're going to be doing is holding a series of book clubs that are related to games and gaming. So there's some books that are like the history of video gaming and how we get from Donkey Kong to Mario to Zelda to Skyrim to Pup on ground right now. So the history of video gaming is one of them, and another one is what is a game? So what does it take to make a game fun? What is the difference between sort of work and that activity that we engage in, and what is work when it's digital inside of a video game, and why do we want to do one and not the other more often than not? And then the third one is sort of problems in gaming culture. So there's a controversy a while back around Gamersgate. There's lots of issues that online gaming culture has, particularly with femininity and women in games, and we're going to try and have a conversation around that based on a couple of books. So we'll have book clubs that focus on these topics, but because we're doing this all online, we're able to do something different than we would for a traditional book club. So after we have these discussions and engage with anyone who's wanting to watch and participate in Twitch, we'll have the authors of the books we're discussing come and Skype in with us. So some are coming from Scotland, some are coming from Philadelphia, some are coming from Chicago, and they'll be on Skype with us, where we'll be able to interact with them, and the other people in the book club who have read the book will be able to chat with them as well. And in alignment with all of this, we're going to buy extra ebook copies of it, so you can download a copy of the titles that we're going to be discussing and reading together ahead of time, and you don't need to leave your house to do that.
That's really unique, especially how you're able to do all of this through technology.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's a lot of Twitch streamers in Sacramento?
There's a surprisingly large community of streamers in Sacramento. One of the most popular Twitch teams, if you're familiar with Twitch culture at all, it's a group of streamers who help support each other's content by hosting each other's content when you aren't using your own channel and things like that, called Twitch Kittens, and the primary person in charge of that is out of Sacramento. But Twitch and live streaming in general is really unique in that there being streamers in Sacramento is great because you can actually meet with the people in this community, but it's really a community without any geography to it. It is pretty borderless in a lot of ways. But Sacramento has a surprising number of streamers we found, and we've been discussing and consulting with a couple of them and trying to figure out the best way forward to set all this up, because it's actually surprisingly complicated to get right, at least.
And then how are people able to be a live streamer and earn a living at the same time?
So there's a lot of revenue streams that live streamers seek to use. On Twitch, you can get affiliate or partner status, and then you can start to get portions of the ad revenue that comes along with the commercials that play before your Twitch channel starts to broadcast. So you essentially are creating this project that people advertise over, and that's one way to earn money. But another way is that a lot of Twitch streamers will have subscribers, people who pay a monthly fee to be able to access the content on your channel. And then also donations. So they'll have a donate page where you can donate to them, or an Amazon affiliate link where they'll be able to send you to buy something that they're using on Amazon, and they'll get a portion of the proceeds from that. Or they'll be sponsored by headphone companies or keyboard companies or things like that. That's a pretty minimal percentage of live streamers that do it. A lot of people do it as more of a hobby than a career. But that's one of the revenues, or those are some of the revenue streams. And then other live streamers, part of what they're able to do is they're able to take the content that they create on Twitch and then save it and then put it on services like YouTube, where again they can do that same cycle of revenue with promotion and with being a YouTube producer and earning money that way.
And then as far as the libraries program goes, where is the money for that project coming from?
So this project is supported by the State Library and the Institute of Museum and Library Services, IMLS. So we were able to write a grant for approximately $30,000 to get all the laptops and green screens and lights and microphones and software that we needed to be able to execute this program properly. So that's where most of the money comes from. And then the library is matching it with in-kind contributions from staff time and from some of our general fund to be able to cover some of the expenses of what it takes to launch all this technology off the ground and get these skills into the hands of our community.
And then lastly, what would you say is the coolest part about this project?
The coolest part of this project, I think, is really getting to work with young people like yourself. I mean, it's we had our sort of dry run of this technology about a week ago, where we put up a Twitch stream and did this live, and there was lots of things that didn't work like what we wanted them to. But the one thing that worked exactly like what we wanted them to was the teenagers who were doing the streaming, who were doing the building. They were all really prepared. They were all really engaging. They were all really open-minded and positive about the whole experience. So we had 5 librarians running around pulling our hair out because we couldn't get Skype to work like what we wanted Skype to work like, but the teenagers were completely rock solid and calm throughout the entire thing. So having that experience with really dedicated and professional, organized youth is very positive, and it's always a pleasant experience when you encounter that.
That's really amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.